My name is Courtney Dillon. I am a medium. I teach a lot of online classes, and I am just very excited to be here. Welcome you to this 1/11/2026 energy forecast call. So I'll tell you a little funny story about this call, and then we'll get into it. So quick announcements. I am very, very excited. So the first offering I have this year, I'm going to teach my course, The Frequency Key, and I'm going to do it as an immersive weekend. So the first weekend in February, a lot of people have been asking me for weekend things, and I'm a mom, so it's a little tricky with volleyball schedules and tournaments and all of that. But the good news is my daughter's going out of town that weekend. So we're going to have space to do it. It's going to be a lot of fun. And it will be the first weekend, the 6th through the 8th. And if you all of the calls, it'll be morning and afternoon session. And don't worry, you can still my husband announced this is the Super Bowl, and I didn't even know that, but I was like, well, it's going to end like an hour and a half before the Super Bowl. So if you celebrate the Super Bowl, you will still be able to make your parties and eat the chips or whatever. So anyway, I hope you can join, and it will all be recorded. If you have to take your kid to soccer or something one morning. So we'll put the link in the chat to find out about that. And that's really what we're going to do in that class is we are going to really understand the mechanics of manifestation in a clear way. So if you feel like you understand manifestations and have tried vision boards, and I'm not putting down vision boards, I actually really like vision boards, or tried all the things and feel like it's hard to make headway in certain areas of your life, this class will be a good resource because we're going to talk about how to actually clear subconscious beliefs, how to work with that energy. And that's really, really important because we're actually not manifesting from conscious mind, we're manifesting from subconscious mind. And so we're going to work on that. We're going to align our vision with our soul, which is super exciting that angels have showed up and shown me a practice to do that. We're going to work on visioning for this year, and we're going to learn how to shift timelines. So should be a really fun weekend, and I'm actually super excited to teach it. So I hope you can join. And we'll put the link in the chat and I think if you sign up today and tomorrow, you get like extra off for the people on this call. Okay, but that's it. I'm not going to do a sales call here. This is actually a standalone. I want to, you can absolutely take it again if you've taken it before, and I have new material. So, Anne Christine, that's a great question. Okay, 2026, here we go. So when I sat down to channel this information, a group of angels showed up to provide it for me. And they gave me 6 themes, which we will be going over today, and how this is important because it's not only 6 themes that will show up in the collective. These themes will actually show up in your life. And so what's fascinating to me, and this is why I do this every year, it's like a little cheat code for me when I'm working with clients. I'll be like, oh, this is actually showing up in your life because this is a theme of the energy of the year. So what I would recommend, but you can do anything you want, is you pay attention to the information, and then you'll notice how it shows up in your life this year, as well as in the collective. Okay, so let's get into it. I this morning, as I was getting ready to kind of tuning in, Saint Germain started playing the song. It's the REM, and this is, the end of the world as we know it, and I feel fine. So I thought, I almost wish I had it to play right now. You guys know that song. So he started playing that song because what the information that came through is, and I think a lot of people on this call kind of have this sense, but it's really, we are at the end of time as we know it. We are moving more directly this year into a new age. And what this is doing is calling for a dismantling of the times that we have lived in. And that could bring up fear for some people, and for me even, right? Because you're like, oh, dismantling, like that sounds uncomfortable. That sounds like something I don't really want to participate in. But here's the thing. One, what I was shown, and yes, it's being recorded. What I was shown over and over is there's amazing, powerful opportunity this year to work with this energy if you understand how to harness it and how to use it in your own life to create. And creativity is one of the themes. And so we could look around, we could spend all of our time watching the news, and we could be like, things are terrible, right? Things are really bad on Earth right now. But the first idea here is that we are being called to show up and be the light worker. And they emphasize this over and over. So that's the first idea, be the light worker. Whereas in previous years, we might be waiting for our assignment. We might be waiting for the right time. And I certainly have been guilty of this, like waiting for the right time to do something, or when. The other idea is an old pattern of when I feel ready. Does anybody kind of have that? When I feel ready. This is the year that we are going to have the opportunity to step through those old patterns and do the damn thing, that's what I'm hearing. Do the thing. Okay. And I mean, be the light worker how you feel called. Now, that doesn't mean necessarily that you need to become a healer for other people, or you need to be a psychic, or you need to be a medium. That's not what I'm saying. Be the light worker in your own life, in the way that you are called. Be the light worker in your community, right? It is, if you are, a hairstylist, you're being the light worker for your clients. You're showing up differently in your energy. You're showing up authentically as yourself in your own frequency. Why? Because our authentic energy is magnetic. Our authentic energy is what draws people to us and to our experience in life. And so when we make the concerted effort this year to let go of old programs, old patterns, and old belief systems that are just like Control, Alt, Delete, we do not need them anymore, right? We can show up authentically as ourselves. And this is a moment by moment choice, where you might have gotten into certain roles in your life for a long time. I don't know why I'm hearing this. It's for somebody. Maybe you were a people pleaser for many, many years. And this year it's about taking care of yourself, right? It's about really authentically taking care of yourself and broadcasting that frequency and not overriding your own needs, right? So whatever that means to you, and however that, if that resonates with you, it's like showing up authentically in your own life and honestly in your own energy. Okay. Um, and offering your compassion, your kindness, your when we have the opportunity to judge, right? When we have the opportunity to see somebody through the eyes of judgment, we come back to ourselves as the light worker and see them through the eyes of source, right? It doesn't mean we have to let everybody in our field or agree with everybody's behavior, to be clear. Okay. I mean, there are plenty of people that I'm like, you're a hard no, but I can still see, right, you through the eyes of source. Does that make sense what I'm saying? So that's a huge theme, and it will be showing up. And this was like, the angel I was talking to, he almost sort of called people out. He's like, this is the year to get up and do the thing. So whatever you kind of have a sense to do, it's like, we are here, we're consciously creating this new world through our thoughts, beliefs, and our emotions. We're contributing to the whole. And this was a line that I was like, wow, this is a little intense, but I'm going to say it. I was told that we can create annihilation or we can create paradise. So it is a powerful choice we are making this year. And we can create this in our own life as well. We can begin to create paradise on earth, even though that sounds wild given the news stories, right? Through our own consciousness, through our own frequency. Okay. So we're learning to live in alignment with universal law. Sorry, the comments are great. I'm gonna just keep going. We're learning to live in alignment with universal law. If you're not sure exactly what that means, don't worry. I'm going to teach a class on that in early March. And so stay tuned. But basically, that means what I'm saying right now is to be the light worker and live in alignment with yourself, not what other people are telling you to do, not what other people think you should do, but living in alignment with your own truth, right? Okay. The second one, and I got a little scared when I heard the second one, but there's a caveat on it. Okay. Number 2 is expect the unexpected this year. And I was like, oh, great. The first thing I thought was, oh, great. That was my human mind. Just like, oh, that's a lot. Okay. But here's the thing. What we are going to have, on the surface, some turmoil, chaos, and it can disrupt our frame of reference and what we rely upon in certain ways. But the flip side of the coin, because they're showing me a coin in this moment, the flip side, a gold coin, the flip side of that coin is to expect the unexpected miracles. So I'd like you to add that in, okay? Expect the unexpected miracles in your life. Yeah. Ooh, right? Because miracles are a byproduct of learning to live in alignment with natural law. And why we think of, we can certainly think of like Jesus or Yogananda or some of these enlightened beings who were capable of what seemed like miracles on earth. We can begin to align with natural law and expect these miracles in our own lives, in our own community, for people whom we love. Okay. And this is so powerful because we are deleting, we are turning away from the propaganda of fear and unworthiness and shame. And we are actually tuning into this year who we actually are as God, as source energy, as consciousness. And we are reconnecting with that. And when we reconnect with that, we can begin to make way for miracles in our own lives, right? So solutions to problems that have seemed like I have no idea how this is going to get fixed will start to come in if we align with that energy. And that's why I'm teaching the frequency key, actually, because we have to align with that frequency, align with that energy, and they will show up. We can expect some chaos in the collective, certainly. But our job right now, it's not to say that some of the injustices we see in the world or things that are happening that feel negative, we want to condone all of it, or we want to turn away and not look at it. I'm not saying that, but what I am saying, it's important to tune into your own energy more than ever before, to ground in that, to remember yourself as source, and to start to align with miracle energy in your own life. So, expect the unexpected is a powerful, powerful theme this year. You might have some unexpected things that on the surface feel, they may feel negative at first. But what you can do with that is to remember that you're making way, making space for you to show up authentically in your life as who you are. And some of the ways you might have created in the past might be based on old versions or old ideas of yourself. And that might be leaving. Okay. So if something happens sudden or unexpected that feels negative, like a relationship ends or something, you can tune in and know that this challenge is leading me to my highest good. This is a powerful opportunity, and I expect miracles. Okay. It's revolutionary energy. We are freeing ourselves from programmed fear. All of our habits are going to begin to change, and we are awakening in a way that we never have before. Okay. The third, it's a deepening of faith this year. A deepening of faith. We will remember, if we want to this year, that we have faith in a higher power. We have faith in ourselves. We have faith in the universe. And we can remember that all things work for good for those who believe. That we may look around at some of the chaos and feel that things are negative on earth. And that's one perspective, only one perspective. But it's not true, because it's a step in the direction. It's a step in the direction of moving toward alignment with natural law. And everything on earth is going to reorganize to be in alignment with natural law, because we are moving into this powerful age where we know who we are and we live in a higher dimensional energy. And right now, we have the choice to step into and deepen our faith in a way that we never have before. I was reminded, this was a couple of weeks ago. So my daughter and I, or maybe a week ago, I don't know, whenever Christmas break was, that was It felt like an eternity, to be honest. It so we were, Christmas shopping or something like that. Um, we were sitting at lunch, and my daughter, is a very skilled medium, turns out. And she was just sitting with me, and out of the blue, she said, "Mom, did you know hawks can see 5 times the distance as humans?" She said, "I think that's what humans are trying to learn right now. We're trying to learn to see from like a wider vantage point." Um, and I knew in that moment that she was channeling, that she was talking about what we're called to do right now. So we're called to go beyond the surface of things and see from this wider, more expansive vantage point, and realize that everything is being reorganized, including what is out of alignment in our own lives, right? So when we have something that comes, we all have things, right? Because we were very programmed for a while until we woke up. But when we have something that is out of alignment in our own lives, I know myself. Sometimes I have this inclination to hold on, to resist change. So it's like gripping to the side of a mountain or something, right? That's what I'm seeing right in this moment. I have sometimes that inclination. But if I recognize that what is coming up is part of this reorganization, then I can really kind of move with this change. I can embrace it, right? Because, on a human level, change is difficult. And change is difficult for me sometimes, right? I mean, I'm still in a human body. I'm still like walking around Earth, Earth is tricky sometimes. Changes can be really difficult. But when we cling, it makes it harder. So we notice what's coming up to, to leave, to come in, that's new. We notice that we have the opportunity to realign. Okay, so the deepening of faith, excuse me, and understanding that we are protected, that we are no longer. Now, this is going to sound maybe a little bit far-fetched at the beginning, but we're going to just kind of get in line with this idea that we are no longer dependent on the external world for our welfare. Our provision comes from a higher power. Our provision comes from source. Okay, so whatever you're navigating in your personal life, you can learn to tune in to who you are and create. Okay, you can learn to do this. This is part of our birthright. Okay, number 4. Let me see where I'm at on time. Oh, I'm good. Okay. Number 4 is a renewed attitude toward the value of things. Now, I thought this one was a little interesting, a little different, but here it is. So, for many years, we have been taught and programmed to consume more, right? To consume more resources, to buy more things, to buy, all of that kind of stuff. But what we're going to be doing this year is we are going to really start to recognize the value of connection with community, with people, and with what you already have, what you have in your orbit. what in your sphere, in your field right now, right? If you can look around and I'm not saying, you might need something. That's fine. And this isn't about like not needing something, right? But this is about more and more to look around and start to recognize the blessings that you have in your life right now. If you're sitting in a home, if you have, heat in your home, you may not. I'm not, right? You may not. But if you have some of these things and you can begin to recognize the value of them, how blessed you are, how abundant you are already right now. And it's not about, and I can get in this too, right? It's not about the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Sue is saying we lost her home to fire this year and lost everything. Oh, I'm sorry, Sue. And we learned the lesson that we don't need a whole lot to be happy. Sue, that's powerful. And I'm not wishing that on anyone, but thank you for sharing that. Because right now, this is about looking at your life and noticing your blessings. Not only does that change your perspective on your life in general, right? But it allows for more blessings. That's the thing. When we tune, this is why I'm teaching the frequency key, because we're entering the lunar year of the fire horse, and it's a very different energy than the snake energy that we've been working with. Okay, very different. Okay, we are entering this time where we can begin to tune into the natural frequency of abundance that is already present in our life. And it's pleasant in our life too, right? It's already present in our life right here, right now, with what you have. Okay. And it's present with the connections you have with other humans. It's present with, a conversation that you have with a stranger where you feel heart resonance or heart energy. It's these smaller moments and recognizing our blessings that allow for more. And I'm not talking about more in necessarily the material sense, although it can be that. I'm talking about what is true and actual abundance, right? What is true and actual abundance is how you feel abundant in your life. For me, that's time to create. I feel abundant in my life when I have time to create, offerings, to create classes, to write, right? That gives me a feeling of abundance. So this doesn't need to be that for you, but what is that for you? What is true and authentic abundance? And this has to do with starting to notice what you already have in your life as a blessing. Okay. And it changes our point of view when we realign with this, right? It can change our point of view because it detoxifies us from programming and conditioning, and it replaces it with the truth. And the truth is powerful. And your truth will be different than other people's truth of what feels abundant for you, right? Okay, so it's the value and connections. It's once we see the value in our relationships, we see the value in the material possessions that we have, we recognize this inherent abundance, And we also begin to disconnect from the programming that, and we start to recognize excess for what it is. This constant, buy more, consume more, do more without, being quiet and listening for direction is the programmed reality that we're being fed. And we can turn away from it and say, no more. That's actually not true. Right? We don't have to consume information 24 hours a day. Why? Because when we do that, we can't hear our own guidance system. And we are being guided and led in all moments, all the time. Right? We are being guided, I'm supposed to say this again, and led in all moments, all the time. So if you have a lot of external noise, if you're spending a lot of time scrolling, for example, I'm not trying to call anybody out, right? But that is siphoning your energy. That is siphoning your life force so that you cannot hear. It's purposeful, actually. It's purposefully siphoning your life force so that you cannot hear, what am I here to do on earth? Because the truth is, you wouldn't be on this call right now if you weren't a light worker and you didn't have an assignment. Okay? Everybody here is being called in their own way. Right? In their own way. And it does not have to look like anybody else's way. And you might be thinking, well, who am I? Who am I to do? I don't have anything to offer. And that's simply not true. Right? It can be offering something to a stranger, to a smile, to learn to listen to other people. Whatever you are being called to do, this is the year to, they're just saying it, do the damn thing. All right? Do it. Okay. We are overturning all form. We have the opportunity to overturn all forms of propaganda and come into the truth of ourselves. That is very powerful. So this is such an opportunity, and I, for one, am not going to squander it. I'm not going to squander this opportunity and this energy and spend all my time, distracted. I want to get quiet and listen. And for you, getting quiet might be going for a walk so you can hear your guidance, cooking a meal for your family. Whatever that means for you, you do that. Because we're in a spiritual battle of sorts. And we have to pick, right? We have to pick that I'm going to be here and live in my truth and live in my light, right? And I am not going to allow other external forces to distract me from what I came here to do. And even if you don't know what that is yet, that's okay. But give yourself the opportunity to listen. Give yourself the opportunity to listen. Okay. Okay. The fifth one is cultivating creativity within yourself. Now, this is a fun one, and it is came in very strongly. So right now, so here's the thing. If you have looked if we can look back in historical patterns, this is a very different time than any other time in history because we're moving into a new age altogether, right? But if we looked back to any historical time in history, we could see that periods of time that feel like contraction in the collective are also tremendous opportunities for innovation and creativity, right? They're huge opportunities for innovation and creativity. So this theme is about you connecting with your own personal creativity. Now, I hear at least, and this is the side benefit, I suppose, of being psychic, right? Is I hear a lot of people talking to me right now and saying, but I'm creative at all. I'm not a creative person, I'm just not creative. If you're in that group that's saying that to me in this moment, I'm going to respond to you. Okay. What does creativity mean to you? How does it show up for you in your life? And the more that you allow yourself to express your creativity in whatever way that means for you, the more that this energy will show up in your life and be a powerful force for good. Okay. So this was fascinating to me. So I was shown very specifically somebody knitting and that they just knew how to knit, right? They knew how to knit and they liked to knit. And I was thinking, maybe I should learn to knit. Like, I feel like that would be, like learning to use your hands again. Yeah, I know Allison on this call. I'm looking at her right now. I still wear it every winter, this incredible scarf. But I saw this image of a person doing this, a woman doing this, and she got this idea to create like a YouTube channel. And it sort of just came in as an idea. And so she creates this channel and she's in a place in her life. This was like, they gave me like a whole story, which was kind of funny. And so she creates this channel and she begins to teach people this art that she has, this skill. And she begins to make a living doing this. So the reason I'm using what may feel like a random example or doesn't apply to your life, there is going to be this creativity that is unexpected, that you can make inroads in various areas of your life using your creativity, what you already know how to do, right? So you may think, oh, I'm not sure what that means for me yet. That's okay. All you have to do for this one is to make a point in your life to connect in some way with your creativity, to create, what is this creativity asking of me? It might be asking of you to wear a certain color on a certain day. It might be asking you to, write something, like sitting down and writing an actual letter on a piece of paper to a friend, right? These things that we are losing as humans in some ways. We are forgetting how to make things, how to use our hands, how to create. We are being called to do them again. And it's not just art, right? I'm talking about things that remind us of who we are authentically. So whatever that means for you, it will be unique for every person. Okay. Yeah, I've been nudged to create a YouTube channel this year, journaling. So if you feel nudged, okay, we're going to go back, do the damn thing, right? Because you will be surprised. You may be really surprised at where that will lead you. It might, remember, expect the unexpected, okay? That might lead you in some place that you are completely surprised by. So look inward for this one. What is a natural resource? We create. We're here to create. And the more that we can connect with our creativity is an additional way that we can remember that we can create what we need in the material world in a gentle way that's in the flow of life. And we're not so dependent on external forces, right? We're not dependent. So, we might get information and hear that things are dire and that there's no jobs and then there's this and that. And that's one that might be true on some level. But again, you can move to the higher perspective. You can move to the higher perspective where I am here to create on earth. I know that source is going to lead me and guide me to my next opportunity. So again, the timeline that some humans are on, I'm not putting anybody down right now. We have the opportunity to go here. Does that make sense? So you don't have to necessarily get in the mud with the collective. Okay? You don't have to get in the mud. We can instead cultivate the soil, right? Okay, so it's about cultivating the soil, changing our viewpoint. And remembering that anytime challenge shows up this year, it is a powerful opportunity to realign with higher truth. Okay? Anytime unexpected change shows up, we have the opportunity to realign with our higher truth. Yeah, cultivate the soil. Exactly. Okay. Now, this last one is exciting, and there's a caveat to it. We have to know how to work with it. Okay. The energy is super powerful, and we can expect to manifest more spontaneously this year. We can manifest more spontaneously, almost as if things can come out of nowhere. This happened to me the other day. I was like, I got a call for something I'm going to be on in a couple of weeks. And I was like, wow, this just feels like it just literally came out of nowhere, Oh, sorry. Good question. Susan's asking, what is number 6? 6 is quicker manifestations and the ability to manifest spontaneously. Okay, faster, like the speed of which what we desire, but I'm talking about desire from an aligned way, desire from our heart. Authentically, we can take action in the physical world and begin to manifest more spontaneously, quickly. So here's the caveat to this one, okay? We have this powerful opportunity to rise above and to actually create good in the world and to realize that we are laying the groundwork for new earth, that we came here at a potent time. So, there are days that I wake up and I think, why the heck are we here? I mean, seriously, this is a bit much, right? It's a bit much right now. Okay. And I am told and shown anytime I get into that train of thought, because, like everyone else, I sometimes wake up on the wrong side of the bed, just like, everyone. Anytime I get into that train of thought, though, I am reminded that we came here for a reason. each person who is listening to this came here, volunteered to come here for a reason. And it's not to say we don't have life lessons and things to work through, but it's to say that we are, through our own energy, through our own thoughts, through our own creativity, laying the ground for the world to come. And it is coming. Hopefully we'll see some of it in our lifetime. But even if we don't, that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. We're here to create the new earth. So being the light worker this year is more important than ever before. And because we can manifest we can manifest faster, it's important that we understand the power of that and we direct our thoughts and direct our actions and direct our energy, most importantly, purposefully. Okay? That we don't waste our thoughts on these old, and we might have some still running, and we're going to be eliminating them this year. We don't waste our energy on old belief systems of unworthiness. Okay, that we don't waste our energy on believing that I'm not deserving of being a light worker. Who am I to do this? No more of that. We're all here for an important reason. Okay, and it is so powerful that we can begin to really harness what we came here to do, to powerfully visualize, to align with that, to create meaningful action in our own lives based on that guidance. Okay? And so this is the power of this year. So if we're spending our time in fear, and listen, we all get afraid sometimes. This isn't about, what we're talking about isn't being high vibe all the time, just to be clear. Okay, we all can feel sadness and feel grief and feel all of the gamut of human emotions. That's not what I'm talking about. But I'm talking about, and what was shown is this collective fear that permeates, that's a kind of a tenor. If you walk outside, you can sort of feel it a little bit. It's like, okay, that's what that is. But no, I'm going to connect with my own energy, powerfully connect with my own energy, learn to charge up my own energy, and authentically walk through the world from that place. And why? Because our frequency is powerful. Our authentic frequency is extremely powerful. And when we decide to turn away from the collective fear, we can begin to align with the magic that's available to us in our lives, align with the miracles. Yeah. Sue's asking a question. Will you teach us how to charge up our energy in the weekend course? Yes. So it's going to be, we're going to do a lot of exercises, somatic work, visioning, that kind of thing. Okay. So yes is the answer to the question. So remembering again that any hardship or any challenge is an opportunity to move us to what is good, to what is true. So if something shows up that needs to go, goodbye. Thank you. Thank you for your lesson, right? And we're more of ourselves, okay? If this is a force of change that's powerful. Nothing is going to stop us from creating what we came here to create if we make that decision. Nothing. Because when we decide to align with divine force, that is more powerful than any darkness on earth. So, you don't come to my classes and I don't mess around, I guess. So, if you haven't been here before, I don't mess around. We're going to get it done. This year, there is going to feel like a presence of darkness in some ways. It's an effort. We have to remember that this is propaganda. That's an effort to preserve the status quo. And it's reliant on fear and programming. But we can align with ourselves, come back to our truth, because this truth is the center of everything, and begin to operate from this place and use our intuition as our guidance system. It's a good opportunity to use our discernment in ways that we haven't before. If something feels off, if something feels like a no, if something feels misaligned, you listen and you don't do that. Okay? Because for many years, I personally, until I got the memo, I would know what my intuition was telling me on some level, but I would be too subject to what other people expected of me, right? Wanted me to do, or overriding things I knew. And this year is the opportunity to basically stop doing that. Okay. So it's powerful. We can manifest more spontaneously. We can embody our creativity in ways that we never have before. And we can remember that we are the light worker, right? We are the light workers. Okay. So what I'd like to do now is to take the last 5 minutes, and we're going to imagine in a few minutes, like 1 minute from now, okay, that we're going to walk through a door, and whatever door shows up for you, okay? But before we move through that door, before we cross the threshold and stand in the new energy of this year, okay, and allow ourselves to receive it, I want you to think of one thing that you'd like to leave on the other side of this door, right? It could be without like berating yourself or getting into the self-judgment, just something that's not authentic to you or for you anymore. And it can be something very small. It could be the biggest thing ever. It could be whatever you want, right? And I would like you to, does everybody have a thing? You don't have to share because, whatever, unless you want to, you can, that you'd like to leave, okay? So remember that we're still in the energy right now until February 12th, I think. No, 17th. I don't know. Okay, whatever the Lunar New Year is. I don't have my astrological calendar right in front of me right now. But we're in that energy right now of letting go of the old. So allow the old to surface the next few days. 17th. Thank you, Juliet. I thought that was right. Allow the old to surface the next few days and notice what's coming up to leave. Do something to let those old energies go, right? Do something physical to let those old energies go. It could just be like, I want to let go all of 2025. That generally sucked. No, I don't know. That's fine. That's totally fine. Whatever it is, right? Whatever it is, whatever comes to you to let go. Okay. But on the other side of the door, after we cross the threshold, we are going to allow, it looks like this sort of blue color. I'm noticing it may show up differently for you, but I would like us to allow ourselves to stand in it and receive it. And we're running out of time. So we're just going to do this for like 2 minutes and then we'll come back and say goodbye. Does that sound good? Okay. So bringing up to your mind the one thing you want to let go, closing your eyes gently, tuning into your breath, grounding in yourself, in the truth of who you are. And so it may feel like a weight you're carrying, or I don't know why I'm seeing this, a backpack. It may feel like a weight on your ankle. Notice where this thing you want to let go, notice how it shows up for you or where you feel it. And I'd like you to imagine that you're standing in front of a door. And this door is your door. So before you cross through this threshold, before you open the door, I want you to imagine that you are somehow taking off, letting go, shedding the old thing that wants to leave, whatever that is. You can imagine burying it in the ground. You could imagine it floating away in the wind. Take a few moments and imagine that leaving right now. I just saw some handcuffs come off. Good. And right now, after you've taken a moment to let that go, I want you to imagine opening the door and taking a moment, standing before the door. And when you're ready, stepping over the threshold into the new energy. And once you've stepped over, you are no longer carrying what left. It is gone. Standing in this new energy, this blue cosmic light, standing with our guides, Arcturian star beings, Saint Germain, Mary Magdalene, and various guides and angels who welcome you. Stand with them now and allow this energy to move through the top of your head into your crown chakra. Activating you, guiding you, directing you. And being with it for a few moments. When you're ready, this energy is going to begin working in your life now. It feels very cosmic. You can tune into it anytime. And when you're ready, blinking your eyes open, coming back into the here and now. All right. That was nice. Feels good. Okay. Thank you everyone so much for coming. I'm so grateful. And I hope to see you in February or later this year. Yeah, I have a lot of things coming up. I'm going to really teach a lot this year. So I hope to see you soon. It was wonderful to be with you. I hope you have a beautiful Sunday wherever you are in the world. And I will see you soon. Okay, bye everyone. Unmute. Let's see. All right. Bye.